Hey team, so how hard is a 1:30 half marathon? That is probably one of the most difficult time barriers in long distance running efforts. I know a lot of you out there are trying to run a 1:29:59 half marathon time. And again, in order to do this, you need to run 6:52 mile pace for 13.1 miles or 4 minutes and 16 seconds per kilometer for 21.1 kilometers. And a lot of things have to go right in order to run a sub 1:30 half marathon. Proper pacing is absolutely vital. Okay. If you're going out too fast and you're running too aggressive in the early stages of your race, maybe you're going out and you're running a few sub 6 minute mile pace uh, miles. Maybe you're running a few sub 6:10 miles in the middle, in the first few miles of your half marathon. You have to dial it down a little bit. Okay. It's important to get out. Okay. You can pretty much sprint for the first 200 meters of your race all out and not build up any lactic acid. Okay, so definitely get out aggressive and then settle into your pace. Yes, breaking an hour and 30 minutes is, in terms of how hard is a 1:30 half marathon, it's very hard. It's a very fast, competitive time, but other athletes can do it and have done it, and so can you. Okay, so it's just a matter of setting up your training properly. Okay, the optimal time frame in order to run a sub 1:30 half marathon, in my opinion, is minimum of 12 weeks, but preferably out to around 20 weeks. Okay, the longer your build up, the more time you'll have to prepare to get that 1:30 half marathon race pace to feel easier. Okay, we want to get that 1:30 half marathon race pace to feel more like marathon race pace. Okay, in order to do that, you have to work on your speed, working on doing one VO2 max workout per week. Okay, that's running between 95 and 100% of your max heart rate. In my opinion, doing the types of workouts I was doing to run 107.06 for the half and 219 for the marathon, I was doing 5 to 6 1 mile repeats on the track, running at around 3K to 5K race pace, giving myself around 4 minutes of rest when I wasn't very fit at all, and then giving myself around 60 seconds rest when I was very anaerobically fit. I was doing 3 2 mile repetitions on the track or on the roads, doing tempo runs of anywhere from around 7 miles to 10 miles in length, so out to around 16 kilometers. So again, if you're doing 3 to 4 mile tempo runs, you're still going to get a huge physiological boost from doing tempo runs of that length. But in my opinion, if you want to break an hour and 30 minutes for the half marathon, you have to extend the duration that you're spending at your anaerobic threshold. Okay, we want to improve the body's lactate tolerance. The only way to do that is to train at a minimum of 85% of your max heart rate, but preferably even sometimes when you're doing VO2 max workouts, that's running between 95 and 100% of your max heart rate. So you're running at very high aggressive efforts, running at paces that are significantly faster than 1 hour and 30 minutes for the half marathon. Okay, so if you do that properly and you taper down correctly, you use a 10-day taper rather than a 3-week taper, you're going to give your body sufficient time to recover from the hard months, weeks and months of training that you've put into this build up for your sub 1:30 half marathon effort. Okay. So again, breaking an hour and 30 minutes for the half marathon comes out to running 6:52 mile pace or 4:16 kilometer pace for the entire duration of your race. So we want to make sure that we're running enough volume to build that endurance in order to break this barrier, but we also want to make sure that the percentage of the mileage that you're putting in each week is getting close to around 30 to 40% of your running at 30 to 40%, close to or right at your anaerobic threshold. Okay, again, study what the best middle to long distance runners do and simply duplicate their work habits. Okay, these athletes that make it look easy, that are running great half marathon, that are breaking an hour and 30 minutes for the half marathon, or running fast times in the shorter or longer distances, they make it look easy for a reason. They've spent so much time training it at very aggressive efforts, and they've also paid attention to their recovery. They're very focused in on getting plenty of sleep, hydrating well before, during, and after their workouts. They're getting massages. They're taking ice baths. All of these things you really have to focus in on in order to run a sub 130 half marathon. Okay, so one track session per week, one tempo run per week, starting off at around between 2 and 4 miles. When you're just starting off, you have to build that strong base of easy aerobic mileage, and then allow enough time for your body to adapt to a 2 to 4 mile tempo run before you start thinking about doing these longer tempo runs that I talk about, ranging anywhere from 7 to 10 miles in length. Okay, so remember, adaptation is key. If you're running too slow too often, you're just going to be a long, slow, easy distance runner. So in order to be a fast middle to long distance runner, you have to develop your speed and really start recruiting more fast twitch muscle fibers. We only will do that by doing track sessions, doing hill repetitions, doing those faster, varied pace long runs. Those types of workouts, any type of explosive type activity, whether it's you're in the gym and you're doing box jumps, or you're doing medicine ball drills, or you're doing sprints or sled drills, any type of explosive type activities is going to help you recruit more fast twitch muscle fibers. Okay, by doing that, we help to improve the body's lactate tolerance. You're able to sustain your goal race pace for a longer period of time, and it helps you to minimize slowing down. Okay, as I talked about before, focus on a negative split in your half marathon. Okay, definitely be a little bit more conservative in the first 6.5 miles of the race, and then really attack in the last 6.5, or the last just over 7 miles in the race, or the second half of the race. This is very, very important. Most personal best, most top level performances occur when athletes do a negative split. Okay, so they run more conservative in the first half, and they run very aggressive in the second half. So yes, how hard is it to break a 130 half marathon? It is difficult because it is an elite type time, but other athletes do this around the world each year, and so can you. Okay, it's just a matter of practicing and spending enough time training for a longer period of time at your anaerobic threshold, really focusing on your speed development and getting that 6:52 mile pace or that 4:16 kilometer pace to feel more manageable for you. Okay, it's not going to come easy. You have to also make sure that you're paying attention to mental rehearsal and seeing yourself getting across that finish line with 1:29:59 on the clock. Most of your competition are only focusing on physical training. They are not focusing on mental rehearsal, mental training. If you truly want to get to the next level in your racing, whether it's for a 5K, a 10-mile, half marathon, or marathon, you have to pay attention to both aspects of your preparation. Okay, the world's top runners, the world's top athletes, regardless of sport, know how important it is to train the mind. Okay, we spend most of our attention training the body, but you have to start seeing yourself doing this before it occurs. Maybe you're at 2 hours and 5 minutes right now, and you want to break an hour and 30 minutes for the half marathon. That's a big chunk of time. Okay, but the subconscious mind does not know the difference between reality or imagination. Okay, I'll say that again. The subconscious mind does not know the difference between reality or imagination. Okay, so it doesn't know the difference. If you're a 2:05 half marathoner right now, it doesn't really care that you've run that time. Okay, it doesn't know the difference between a 2:05 and a sub 130 for the half marathon. Okay, so you have to combine your physical training, but you also have to start implementing 10 to 15 minutes each day, seeing yourself running at the type of level that you're dreaming about. And it may be a time that you right now don't think you're capable of doing. Okay, remember, I was a 2:43:36 marathoner one time, and I was dreaming about breaking 2 hours and 22 minutes. That's a big chunk of time too. And to go from 2:43:36 to eventually running 2:19:35, I did that. A big part of that was from mental preparation. I continually thought about it during the day. I spent time when I was going to bed at night, living like a monk back from 1992 pretty much up to around 2018. I was running anywhere from 60 miles a week all the way up to 140 miles a week. Okay, at my highest, 142 miles was my highest week. I spent the majority of my time in my life focusing all of my energies on running. And yeah, I was still in grad school and doing other things, but all I was thinking about was running under that goal time of breaking 2 hours and 22 minutes. So it's the same with you. If 130 for the half marathon is your goal and you want to break into the 120s and run that 129.59, you have to make sure that you're paying attention to all of the fundamentals and what the top runners and the top athletes do, not just average athletes. So I hope this makes sense for you all. I hope this is helpful. Yeah, how hard is it to run a 130 half marathon? It's definitely a challenge. You are definitely going to have your hands full. But that being said, there's a lot of resources on RunDreamAchieve.com that I've created that will speed up your recovery, that will help you get under this barrier. Okay, whether it's a training plan or monthly coaching, or if you want to jump on a one-on-one consultation call with me and you just want to talk about more specifics in your own background, in your own goal setting, just talking things out with me one-on-one, regardless of what that is, there's definitely a resource here that'll help you. And definitely check out the other videos here. They're there for you as well. And if there's anything else I can help you all out with, whether trying to break an hour and 30 for the half or some other goal that you have, whether it's running or non-related or non-running related, feel free to reach out to me anytime. I'll definitely reach back out to you and respond to any comment any athlete makes, whether it's a good comment, whether it's a bad comment, whether it's harsh, whether it's honest, whatever. I'm all for constructive criticism, and I've been in the sport for about 30 years, so there are beginners that know more than I do. Okay, I'm just one voice among billions of people that are out there. So I wish you all the best, and I'll talk to you in the next video.